ancestral dragons. As I walked inside, I was pleasantly surprised to find it far more spacious than expected. The ceiling was embedded with countless mana-rich ore crystals, and the floor was piled with more golden treasure than I could count. But I barely glanced at any of it, because ahead of me stood row upon row of bookshelves. After 15 years, I was finally looking at books again. The faint, lingering smell of ink brought back so much. I casually pulled a spellbook off the shelf, my past life's knowledge combined with an ancestral dragon's mana perception. Let me race through the entire foundational magic theory book in no time. My first reaction after finishing was, what a waste. Books filled with human wisdom, just sitting here collecting dust. An absolute crime. Those lazy dragons had no idea what they were missing. Ancestral dragons had never bothered channeling mana into spells, because a casual swipe of their bare claw already matched the power of high-level magic, so there was never any reason to study how mana worked. Then I noticed a book tucked in the corner of the shelves, titled Transformation Magic. By restructuring one's own mana, one could shift into different forms. In that instant, a wild idea sprouted in my mind. If I used this, could I transform into a human? Go out into the human world? Leave this silent, boring dragon island? The more I thought about it, the more excited I got, and I dove straight in. Strangely though, in my past life, sitting at a desk, I couldn't focus for even 10 minutes. Now I could read through multiple volumes in one sitting, and no matter how much knowledge I crammed in, my mind never felt tired. I thought to myself, truly, ancestral dragons are the most perfect beings. After working through several foundational spellbooks, I found that beyond changing appearance with mana, I could also suppress its output. If I walked into the human world as I was now, even in human form, mana would still leak out of me without me realizing. Anyone with strong enough perception would spot the difference immediately. But once I mastered mana suppression, I'd be completely indistinguishable from an ordinary human. With that, I decisively started practicing. The book said the essence of transformation magic was the arrangement and density control of mana. Reading deeper, the principle turned out to be simple. Reshape your mana into the desired form. The construction was entirely driven by the caster's imagination. So all I had to do was picture the ideal version of myself, layer my mana over it, and I'd become that form. At first, I tried imagining my past life's appearance, but it had been far too long. I could barely remember what I looked like. Only the vaguest outline remained. In the end, I used my original features as a base, added a high-bridged nose, deep-set eyes, and smooth flowing hair, going for the look of a hero from an anime isekai. If I was going to be human, I was obviously going to be handsome. That's only natural, right? As the transformation magic activated, my entire body dissolved into particles of light and faded away. The next second, a textbook isekai hero appeared in its place. In the 16th year since my reincarnation, I was human again. My true form might be a dragon, but I could finally head into the human world. Though now wasn't quite the time. I needed to learn more about the outside world first. After that, I stayed in the Star Treasury for over a decade, reading a full 10,000 books. With each piece of knowledge gained, my longing for the outside world grew a little more. Yet even after 10,000 books, I hadn't even gotten through a tenth of the collection. To finish every book in the treasury would take at least another 100 years, and I couldn't wait any longer. I'd come back and read when I had time. But before setting off, there was one thing I still needed to do. Sis Lucia? She was my only friend on Dragon Island. We hadn't talked many times in total, but I still had to say goodbye before leaving. When she saw me, she spoke first, asking if I was already dressed to go traveling. But she was puzzled, wondering if I'd finished all the books in the Star Treasury. I was surprised to hear that. If you knew I'd been in the Star Treasury all this time, why didn't you come stop me? Lucia replied calmly, because it was too much trouble. If you find the outside world interesting, going to see it isn't a bad thing. Hearing that, I was briefly at a loss for words. For all these decades,